F1 testing got underway in Barcelona today, but already there are question marks over Ferrari. The Race.com team was able to get up close and personal with the cars in the pit lane today, but Gary Anderson, what is it that concerns you so much about this Ferrari?
Well, I mean, they are saying that they're sort of attacking their testing differently from last year, and they just want to make sure the car works properly. But it doesn't seem to have come on with the times. You know, in 2017 they came along with this shortened side pod version with the crash structures dropped down, and they led the way with that. Now every team has actually sort of adopted it. But as far as the front of the car is concerned, the nose, they've retained the wider nose, the wider solution nose, and they're trying to still get the airflow underneath the chassis, which they're not really succeeding in doing because everybody else has gone a different direction with it now, with the narrow nose and the middle keel on the nose to get the airflow underneath the chassis a bit earlier. But Ferrari haven't sort of bought into that yet. Now again, they are all bolt-on bits, so they may just be working back in the wind tunnel to optimise it all before they put it on next week. But I think they need to move forward with their aerodynamic philosophy. It seems to have stood still to me over the last couple of years.
All valid points from Gary there, Scott, but we do also have to remember that the 1.3 second deficit from Charles Leclerc, who we should add, took over from Sebastian Vettel, who was ill before the day started. We're not worried about that lap time deficit at this stage. It is a different approach they're taking. We're concerned more about the car than what we've seen on track so far.
Yeah, so as Charles Leclerc was telling us this evening, they've not had that opportunity yet to lean on performance, not as much as their rivals. Obviously, no one's really going out for a qualifying lap at the moment. But what Ferrari want to do, so they say, is basically they want to try and understand this car a bit better. They're basically trying to right the wrongs of last year, where they went for performance straight away. Testing seemed all rosy, and everyone was really happy, smiles on their face, and then they turned up at Australia and had their pants pulled down, and it wasn't. It was the start of a really barren run for them, winless until the summer break. And just because they go out on day one and post the 11th fastest time and take their time building up to it, doesn't guarantee that they're going to suddenly be really good. I think what they're just trying to do is understand this concept, because as Gary points out, they have things about their car that aren't the same as others. They're standing by those. They seem adamant that this concept that they've gone, they're going to be able to get that downforce and performance from it. But and I guess they're just hoping that this philosophy, approach, concept, whatever they're going to go about testing, is the way to do that.
And we're talking only about the earliest impressions today, but Gary, you were quite impressed with what you saw from the Red Bull.
Yeah, if you go through the Red Bull from the front to the back, they've done a bit everywhere. You know, there's no sort of magic place that you can sort of get all your performance out of it. So you have to look at all the areas. So they've improved the narrow nose, the keel underneath it. They've improved all that area quite a lot. The front wing is a slightly nicer. I mean, they're still retaining the loaded outboard end because they like that philosophy. That's okay. But really, they've done that. The barge boards have improved. The diffuser is just a fantastic piece of kit. It's got about 5 different flaps on the back of it. So it's all, I think they've gone around the whole car and really improved everything. And as I say, there's no magic bullet. You can't just do one thing and think, oh, that's it. You have to do everything. So Red Bull, I think I'd be placing my little bet on them for this season, for at least the Drivers' Championship.
Well, a big tick from Gary Anderson for Red Bull, Scott. But top of the timesheets, for whatever that's worth now, which is not a great deal, but with crucially the most laps completed, was Mercedes.
Yeah, just whatever they do, it's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? We go to testing and Mercedes goes out. They have performance when they want it, reliability when they want it, and even though they've changed drivers during the day, there's not been any disruption in their program. They've gone out and completed more laps than anybody else. So we've had these little warning shots from Mercedes over the winter, talk about how long they've been working on this car and how hard they're pushing on the engine side, and Hamilton saying, "Oh, I've lost X amount of kilograms of weight, and I feel I've had my best winter ever." And now we've gone out on day one, and this is the most emphatic warning shot of all. The Mercedes have never been a team to try and win the testing war. They know that this isn't where you win the championship. And as Gary says, there's a lot to like about the Red Bull. So this doesn't mean it's done and dusted, but it just, for me, all it does is underline that Mercedes doesn't look like it's dropped the ball in any area. And I think while Red Bull and Ferrari, we're hoping, will take the title fight to Mercedes, there's that element of you kind of need that the unbeatable dominance of Mercedes to falter at some point to really let them have an in. I don't really see any signs of that after day one.
Well, we are only talking about the early signs at the moment. Plenty more to talk about in testing. Lots to read on therace.com. Don't forget the hyphen. Give us a like and a subscribe and comment below if you want to discuss any of the topics in this video.